Hi everyone, Jennifer Blevins-Smith with Integral Clinic Solutions, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Navigating the Business of Medicine. Today I want to talk about individual payer policies. There are so many things to keep track of in healthcare, especially if you're involved in the revenue cycle at all in your practice, which the revenue cycle touches quite a few departments. If you haven't seen that video, I would check it out. But if you're in the depths of revenue cycle, whether you're in the billing department, you are in the coding department, you know that there are so many different changes, regulations, requirements out there that they can be specific to individual insurance plans or payers. There are so many people that I have come across, especially if they've been in healthcare billing or coding for a really long time, that don't really take the time anymore to be staying on top of and being current with individual insurance billing policies. And when I'm saying billing policies, that includes coding as well. Just because maybe one insurance needs something billed or coded one way doesn't mean that another insurance wouldn't need it a different way, or maybe they don't cover something altogether. And you wouldn't know this unless you're staying on top of the individual insurance policies for the payers in which you're billing. It is a lot of work and it is very cumbersome because it does change a lot, but it's very, very important because you're going to leave money on the table. You're going to have a messy revenue cycle, especially with those claims coming in either denied or rejected, and you're going to be trying to figure out what's going on, and you're going to be behind the whole process. It's going to add up and it's just going to be even more overwhelming. I am a big fan of being proactive, not reactive. And part of being proactive in the revenue cycle is knowing what you can and cannot bill out, knowing what combinations of CPT codes, what requires modifiers, what is the appropriate diagnosis codes that will get CPT codes covered. There's so many different things that can go together. And let me just tell you right now, I am not a certified biller or coder. I am learning every day about this stuff, but I can tell you, I do know the importance of staying on top of this information. The goal should always be to send out clean claims so that they go out to the insurance companies, they get adjudicated, processed as fast as the insurance will do, and you receive the response, whether it's with a payment, with a partial payment and patient responsibility, or if it all needs to go to patient responsibility, depending on the patient's benefits. But at least then you can get a statement to the patient as soon as possible, as soon as you can when comparing to their date of service, and hopefully collect that money as fast as possible. The sooner you can get statements to patients after their service dates, the more likely they are to pay. And also, it helps you with getting revenue into your business. A lot of us don't have the luxury of having to deal with the messiness of denied claims, rejected claims, trying to figure out what the CAS code and remark codes are telling us, calling the insurance company to figure out what's going on. Then once you get the information, going to the payer portals, looking up their payer information and their regulations and edits, and then trying to fix the claim and resubmit it. It's a lot of work. Being reactive can delay payment coming into your practice significantly. And that means your overheads aren't going to get paid as fast and your debts aren't going to get paid off as fast. It is so important to put the time in up front. Make cheat sheets. Maybe, I don't know, have certain people responsible for certain insurances to stay on top of. So maybe it's not just one person's responsibility to be looking all this up and keeping on top of it. Also, make it a certain frequency, maybe once a quarter. Whoever is designated to be staying on top of this with the payers have designated days every quarter that they go in and they look things up, or half of a year, depending on your insurances and how much volume you have. Things like that are going to factor into your scheduling of this prevention maintenance, as I like to call it. If you have maybe one person that does 10 insurances and the other person that does 10 others, and stay on top of it, because just because maybe Medicare does something one way and people are always like, oh, insurances always follow Medicare. Well, that's not always necessarily true. For the most part, yes, but it's never worth, in my opinion, assuming that. It is good, especially if you are in a specialty, to be going and looking at these NCCI edits that are specific to your specialty, and then looking at the payers' edits and requirements for these codes. Maybe some insurance companies consider a CPT code experimental where other ones won't. Or maybe they consider it experimental only with certain diagnosis codes, but other ICD codes, they do cover it. But you wouldn't know unless you're staying on top of this and you're looking at it. Now, in all fairness, we're not perfect, and sometimes things might get missed, and then you identify some of this, maybe with denials and rejections coming through. But if the bulk of them can be identified and billing can be correct going out for about 80, 85%, 90% of the claims, then that small percentage that you'll be researching and implementing changes upstream is really negligible when you look at the grand scheme of things. Again, be proactive, not reactive. Stay on top of your payer policies, especially for the specialty in which you are billing, which you're coding. This goes to my other point in other videos, that it's super important to have people in your practice who are very experienced with billing and coding for your specific specialty. They get certifications in this for a reason. And that experience, if you can find someone who has the certification in your specialty and they have the experience billing and coding in your specialty, it's only going to make your life easier. So put that money up front. Invest in their wages up front. They'll know they need to keep updated. Have a manager make sure they're staying updated and doing what they need to do. And you'll be sitting really nice, I promise. If you have any questions or comments about this, please leave that in the comments below. Smash the thumbs up button if today's video was helpful. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and please share this video with anybody whom you feel would benefit. Thank you so much. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.